we are here again. How's going on, buddies? And now I'm talking about the HTC One M9. So before talk about the pros and the cons, let's take a overview of the specs. It has a 5-inch 1080p Super LCD 3 display. PPI rocks in 441 pixel per inch, a really common PPI of a 5-inch phone in a full HD 1080p. Anyway, it has Qualcomm Snapdragon 810 chip, and this phone also has 8 physical cores, meaning it has a octa-core processor, but this processor is separated, so it has a 2 quad-core processor. So first quad-core processor running 1.5 GHz Cortex A53, and the second quad-core processor is running 2 GHz Cortex A57. It has Adreno 430 GPU. It does have micro SD support up to 128 gigs, and it comes with 32 gigs of built-in storage. It has 3 gigs of RAM. It's running HTC Sense UI 7 over the Android 5.0 Lollipop. It has 20.7 megapixel camera. Now, finally, HTC's got rid of that whatever ultra pixel kind of things, which works good in low light, but in real world situation you probably need more pixels for things to look sharp and contrasted. I'll talk about the camera of the HTC One M9, and for some good reason the 4 ultra pixel camera is now in front for selfies, Skype calls. It's nice because most of the time if you shooting low light, it will help you a lot, because having a front facing LED flashes might feel awkward, and behind those flashes may fill the light sometime to get the proper exposure. So getting rid of that ultra pixels is fine in back. And the other general things you might expect from a HTC flagship, it has all the things inside. So this was the specs overview of HTC One M9. Now let's talk about the design or the camera, what's new, what's old, what is my thoughts, and let's criticize this phone. First things first, I like to start with the bottom line or the drawbacks. First of all, design changes. It feels maybe some people okay or some people good who is continuously a HTC family, but for new people it might feel a little bit yesterday, because after taking the first look of the HTC One M9, I remembered about the HTC One M7, because it looks and feels almost like the HTC One M7, and lots of tech reviewers are saying that this M9 is designed with mixing those two phones, M7 and M8. So in design, nothing is new here, it's all the old design. But to be honest, I really like very much the design of HTC flagship phones. And talking of design, since the M7, the design is pretty standard and stylish and awesome. In a silver phone, the edge is probably in gold color, which is awesome. So no design changes is the drawbacks for me. Not maybe for me, for many people's. Otherwise, everything seems good. Now let's talk about the 20.7 megapixel camera, which is a really relief for many people who love HTC phones but can't buy it or can't consider it because of these ultra pixel things, 4 ultra pixel things. Now this phone does have 20.7 megapixel sensor, which can record 4K at 30 frames per second and 1080p at 60 frames per second and 720p and and 720p at 120 frame per second. So here we are definitely getting a pretty awesome camera here. I'm told that it has that 4 ultra pixel kind of thing in front of you, like its old brother. It also has the dual tone LED flash, which is kind of awesome. And the first look videos, the picture we have seen is basically obviously from the HTC One M9, but the software is not finished yet, so we are just not seeing what we're actually going to get. But overall the results looks pretty awesome in daylight, but still I am seeing the HTC suffering from low light, which means this phone has those grains or noise in the low light pictures. But one thing I have noticed that the noise are less in the middle and more in corners of the picture. So this thing reminds me one thing, that this could be a problem like vignetting. So that may be a problem of lens which is used in the HTC One M9. So maybe the lens is a little bit tinier, maybe the room is a little bit low, that's why it's darkened the edges of the picture, and that's why it's introducing the digital noise in picture. And I'm not sure about this thing, but we will see that in full review. Otherwise, as my experience says, it's a huge jump up from the 4 ultra megapixel kind of thing. And talking of design, the HTC M9 also has the typical IR blaster in the top, and in the bottom you have micro USB port and the 3.5mm headset jack. And one thing is changed, which is the power button. The power button is not at the top, it's now at the sides, at the right side underneath the volume rocker buttons. And the volume rocker here is separated, not together, it's little separated, so it looks pretty good. And underneath the 2 volume rocker you have the power button, and the power button is textured. Easily your thumb finger can recognize that this is my power button, and here I'm gonna press. And typical, you have 2 front facing speakers, now with more improved Dolby Digital 5-in-1 surrounding sound experience, which is awesome. Who loves HTC phones for their speakers. I almost forgot to talk about the display. I have heard from some of the tech reviewers who were in Mobile World Congress 2015 in Barcelona, Spain. This particular phone, this phone has a warmer display. I mean, this phone has a cooler display. Cooler meaning it has a greenish tint or bluish tint. As far as I remember, I have heard about the greenish tint. Now here is my opinion about this kind of cool display kind of thing. In talking of display, I like warmer display. Warmer meaning which display has kind of little bit pink tint, or which display is little bit reddish, because of few things. First of all, we use very much this phone because of just taking maybe selfies or pictures of people, or just watching pictures in Facebook or kind of things. So in display, if you have a cooler display with a bluish or greenish tint, this will give you better nature picture. like in picture where has lots of green color and blue color, like a landscape which has a green grass, trees and blue skies. This kind of scene will look good in this particular phone, but I think in a phone we tend to see faces more than the trees or skies. So this is my personal preferences. I like warmer display compared to the cooler display. Now no display is perfect. There has to be kind of point, like no display is just at the sweet spot of the white balance or this kind of things. Cooler in greenish or bluish effect, and some are in little bit warmer in pinkish or reddish effect. So personally I like a little bit warmer display. Besides, it looks everything good, everything looks pop, every color, red color or other colors, everything looks much more saturated, attractive, which is kind of cool. And this greenish kind of thing, this kind of problem, I have also experienced in HTC One M7 and M8. I have experienced that, it's true. Those displays also has this greenish effect. So anyway, this was my critique, this was my thoughts about the new upcoming, already came, the HTC One M9. But at the end of the day, I'm really very much happy with this phone. Since now, as my daily driver, I was using the flagship of Sony. I never been in Samsung because I hate the TouchWiz user interface and the design they implement with the plastic feel. Anyway, I always liked and appreciated the design of HTC phones, but for one reason I never get that, because I am a photographer and I need pixels, I need more megapixels. Now I know the Z3 or Z2 isn't the best, Z3, Z2 isn't the best detail capturing cameras out there. They just take a 20 megapixel large photo and shrink it down and make it 8 megapixel. That's why those 8 megapixel photos looks much more better than the 20 megapixel shots. Now I have a very much attention here in HTC One M9. If I see HTC's Beats, Sony, Xperia Z3 or Z4 in camera section, I am hands down to the HTC One M9. And another thing, if the greenish display doesn't bother me too much and the camera of HTC and 20.7 megapixel sensor of HTC One M9 beats the Xperia Z3 or the upcoming Xperia Z4, in this year 2015 the HTC One M9 will be my daily driver. Thanks a lot for watching. Please subscribe to my channel to get more tech videos. Click here to subscribe. Stay tuned, stay awesome. As always, I'll see you soon.